So when I started doing this wash, I was having trouble with my pressure washer, and so the whole process has been kind of a mess. So we're starting on this side of the car with the wheels. I've already done the other two while I was kind of like troubleshooting my pressure washer, but I know it's been a while since we've chatted, and so I've skipped a few weeks because I've just been driving this back and forth from Tucson, and so it hasn't really been worth it to wash it and then just drive it, all the way down to Tucson and get it all dirty again. So first wash in a few weeks, and it's pretty filthy. But yeah, overall the properties in Tucson are going well so far, and one of them is about to hit the market. The condo that we bought is about to hit the market, so I'm excited for that, to see what kind of numbers we hit. I'm hoping we exceed our pro formas. That would be nice. But then I have a property that I own in Gilbert that I have quite a bit of equity in, so I'm actually figuring out, pulling out the equity there to buy more properties, just to give me some more liquidity in this market. And it's pretty cool. I've met a few different lenders that are really cool, and I think would be good resources for everybody. So if you're looking to get into real estate and you need a lender that's going to be investor friendly, and you don't really have, the ability to go get, a traditional mortgage where you get a conventional or FHA loan, the companies that I've discovered are pretty good. But basically, like, if you go get a regular 30-year fixed mortgage on a conventional loan that's like government backed, you're going to get the lowest rate usually from that, but it's going to be the most difficult process. And so what I mean by most difficult process is they're going to require a lot from you as a borrower as far as verification for the loan, and their requirements are going to be way more strict than if you go a different route. And so for me as an investor, like, one, I write off a lot of my income using the tax law, and two, I'm not like a W-2 employee, so I don't have like consistent income that a normal employee of a company would have. And so lenders traditionally don't like this unless they are, they have products that are geared directly towards that. And so the lenders I found so they have products that will, help you out in those type of situations. So for example, on this property, if I were to get a 30-year conventional mortgage, I would probably get a rate around 3%. And I would be getting, 80% leverage, maybe 75% leverage, but probably 80% leverage. And if you don't know what that means, basically 80% of the value of the home they would give to me in a loan. And so instead, I have to go with less aggressive terms, but the product that they're offering is more investor friendly. So I'm going to be getting 70% leverage, so I'll get 70% of the value of the home in a loan. And my rate will be 4%, but it'll still be a 30-year fixed interest rate. And the only caveat there is that my interest rate is going to be 4% instead of the 3% that I would get on a conventional loan. However, they're not going to do any income verification. It's going to be strictly asset-based. So they're doing the loan based on the property, and so they assume, okay, if we give this guy 70% of the value of the home in a loan, and he defaults on the loan, then we get this property for 70%. Like they foreclose on the property and they're into it for 70% of the value. They can go sell the property and make up for their losses for me defaulting. So it makes it super, super easy for me because I can close the loan very quickly. I can get the loan very easily. I don't have to worry about all this, extra nonsense. And then it makes it easier for me, to go out and deploy that capital, because right now if I have that, $500,000 or whatever sitting in this property, I'm making $2,000 a month. But if I take that $500,000 and I get it out in an equity loan, it's tax-free. I don't have to pay any taxes on it like I would if I sold the property. And two, I get to go out and deploy that capital into other properties that are going to bring me more cash flow or more profit than just $2,000 a month. So that's the theory behind that loan. So yeah, for some people, it might not sound like a good deal, or they might not understand it. But once you get a couple deals going, and you start to exhaust the traditional mortgage or FHA mortgage route, you'll understand what a benefit it is to be able to go in and have these people give you a loan in 2 or 3 weeks with no income verification and make it completely asset based, especially like when you're in this business and a lot of the assets that you're buying are under market value. You know, it's hard to go through the whole traditional process because, you know, there's regulations on what the condition of the property can be and all that stuff. So if you don't want to pay, if you're renting out the property after you renovate it or anything like that, this makes it a lot easier because the main thing they're concerned about is how much are you renting it for and how much is the property worth versus, you know, what your situation is like. Because I know a lot of my friends that are in this business, they deploy all their capital. We're not, you know, sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash all the time. We're out pushing this capital to keep it turning and keep it working to make more with it, especially in this kind of environment. Like if you're keeping cash right now, everything is going up in value and your cash is going down in value. So I really don't like keeping cash. So I'm using a lot of debt because the dollars that I'm borrowing right now are going to be worth a lot less in 3, 4, 5 years. So if I can get them now and go lock in value with something, and then in 5 years pay it back when it's worth way less, it's a win-win. So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people. If you're into investing, you realize the power that, you know, debt and leverage can have, but also it's just as powerful in the other direction. If you go too crazy with leverage, you know, you can really hurt yourself, especially if you're buying the wrong things. You know, if you're buying, you know, liabilities and luxuries and stuff, it gets crazy when you start doing that because you compartmentalize, you know, everything into monthly payments, and next thing you know, you have so many monthly payments that you can't do anything but work to make those monthly payments, and so now you're trying to get out from underneath all these liabilities. But if you go out and you use that debt for good, you know, and you use it correctly, you can have a ton of debt and be very wealthy. But debt isn't something that everybody should be using, especially right away. I mean, in real estate, it's hard to get into real estate without debt. So I would recommend, if you want to get into real estate, use debt, because the properties that you're going to be able to pay cash for are going to be difficult, you know, unless you're already at a high net worth. But yeah, for like if you're trading stocks and stuff and you're using margin, I don't think that's a good idea. And there's a lot of, like, if you want to go buy a nice car and stuff like that, I would stay away from using debt. I would say buying the nice car using debt for when you have a lot of good debt, a lot of asset-based debt. Because if you start out trying to leverage cars and stuff like that early on, you get what they call lifestyle creep. Your lifestyle expenses creep up just as quickly as your income creeps up, and so you're not net positive on it, because if your income goes from $60,000 to $100,000 and your expenses go from $60,000 to $100,000, you're just working more, or, you know, you're making more money and you're spending more money. You're not like gaining any traction. So yeah, I mean, if you're using debt, like if you really know what you're doing with trading, then yeah, you can use debt to go further, or if you know what you're doing in real estate, you can use debt to go further. But it's risky business, but if you use it properly, it can help you a ton. So yeah, that's kind of my spiel on real estate loans. I mean, the way you really get in trouble in real estate, damn it, this freaking thing always comes off. The way you really get in trouble in real estate is with hard money. And so a lot of people, so like the loans I just told you about, where you can get, you know, a percentage point above, you know, like a conventional loan, those are more for like stabilized property. You're not going to be able to use those loans for a property to flip it. And so, you know, if you have rental properties, it works great, you know, but if you want to flip properties, you're going to probably have to use hard money, or get a line of credit or something, or a loan like that on another property that's already stabilized to be able to do it. And so with hard money, you're going to be at like, you know, a lot of times you're going to be at like 10% interest rate, especially in a market like this where there's a lot of people flipping homes and it's really competitive. The hard money loans are going to be, very expensive. And so a lot of them are interest only. So you only have to worry about paying the interest. So if you have the money out for 3 months, you only have to pay 3 months of the interest. But what happens is, especially when, it's super hard to get any renovations done, or, contractors are backlogged, or it's hard to get lumber and cabinets and things like that, you end up stalling out on your project, and the hard money eats all of your profits. So you have to pay back this loan, and so you thought you were going to do this project in 3 months, and it actually takes you 8 months to do this project. So you have 5 extra payments of hard money at high interest, and it kills your deal. You end up losing money, or because the margins on home flips right now are super thin for a lot of people. And if you're just getting in the business, then you probably don't have access to really good deals unless you're hunting them and finding them yourself. If you're buying them from wholesalers and stuff, the margins are super thin. So 5-month mistake, 3-month mistake can really, send your project in a tailspin. And so, now you have to try to get a higher price, and, you try to get that higher price, and then it ends up just sitting on the market. And then you end up for selling it less than what you would have if you would have just sold it for the right price. And so, next thing you know, your whole project has ballooned because of the hard money. And so for me, when I'm doing my home flips, instead of using hard money, I'm going to use the equity on properties I already have at a much lower interest rate, where the debt service is already covered by a property that's rented, so I don't have to worry about making the payments. Or I'll use a line of credit, which is also backed by usually some type of assets or a personal guarantee. And so it gives you some more breathing room. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people go down because they used hard money improperly. And on your first deal, you really want to give yourself a lot of cushion to make some mistakes, because chances are you're going to make some mistakes. So you want to give yourself that cushion. If the deal only works if everything goes perfectly, then you're really taking a lot of risk. If you get caught with hard money and the market turns, and prices start going down, or inventory starts getting stale, you can end up in a lot of trouble. So let's rinse this off. Instead of directly drying this off after I rinse it, I'm going to use NanoSkin Glide with a clay bar and clay bar this. So yeah, this process basically takes away all the contaminants in the paint. So if you don't have, some clay lube, you can make some just using soapy water basically. You just need some type of lubricant for the clay to take off all this gunk from the paint. So you can feel it working, because when you start off it'll be kind of rough. And then as you go, it'll get smoother and smoother. The lube will slide across the paint easier. So, unless your car is super dirty, you don't have to be like I keep this car pretty well maintained. So I don't normally have too many contaminants. It usually starts off pretty smooth, but better safe than sorry. That's why when people, try to do real estate part-time, it just doesn't work out too many times, because it's really a full-time gig. There's not really shortcuts you can take. So if you're still working another job and you have to focus on real estate, how focused are you really going to be? How hard are you going to watch, your contractors? Or if you're just doing sales, how often are you going to prospect and make sure that you're making enough lead generation activities? My brother came to town this weekend, and so we have season tickets to the Cardinals, and so we took him. He's a big 49er fan, so we took him to see the the 49ers play the Cardinals, and so that was super fun. And we went and had dinner at Ocean 44, which if you're in the Phoenix area and you've never been, I highly recommend it. It's like one of the best steaks in the world. Like it's unreal how good it is. So we did that, and I got to meet my nephew, so I held him, and it's kind of crazy. I've always been scared to hold babies, so I finally held a baby, and it was crazy. It's a cool experience. Babies are freaking. It's cool when you don't have to go home with a baby. You know, you just get to do all the fun stuff. So I think I finally figured out the next build for the channel. I want to buy like a 2009 to 2012 Chevy Colorado, which is like the small pickup truck. I want to get a regular cab, so just a two-door, two-seater truck. And then I want to LS swap it. So just find some truck motor from the junkyard or something and rebuild the motor up nice, and then toss it in the Colorado. So then I'll have like a shop truck kind of to do stuff around the shop with until we get our Cyber truck. But it should be pretty fun build. So this will probably end up being one of my shorter wash and talks, but I think there's some good info in there. I'm not going to put any bead maker on this because I'm going to polish it next. So if it turns out good, I'll post that video. If you can't find that video on my channel, obviously didn't do a very good job. This is kind of it'll be my first time really doing a full polish on a car. I've only done spots before, so should be an interesting project. I know it's going to be backbreaking, so I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll see. The paint's in pretty good shape. It just has some swirls, so see if we can get those out. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Show brain up. I'm just really trying to show you no love. Say you tired and you need a new love. Use what you got for your lose love. See new things with your views up. Yeah, what you want, new things.